This podcast is brought to you by Podcast Nation.
Support comes from ServiceNow. We're for people doing the creative work they actually want to do. That's why this ad was written and read by a real person and not AI. You know what people don't want to do? Boring, busy work. Now with AI agents built into the ServiceNow platform, you can automate millions of repetitive tasks in every corner of your business, IT, HR, and more, so your people can focus on the work that they want to do. That's putting AI agents to work for people. It's your turn. Visit servicenow.com.
Buying a home used to feel like a complete headache. Listings here, pre-approval there, financing somewhere else. Now, Rocket is giving every home one address. Rocket.com. A single seamless homeownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, and refinance your home. Everything you need, all under one roof. Visit Rocket.com, the new home for all things homeownership. Rocket. Own the dream.
Welcome to Nirvana Sisters podcast, where we take the intimidation out of well-being and beauty to help you achieve your highest state, your nirvana. We are sisters-in-law and your hosts. I'm Amy Sherman.
And I'm Katie Chandler. So let's get into some real conversation.
Welcome back to the show, Nirvana Sisters family, and welcome to part 2 with Athena Bahri. This week, we go a little bit deeper into her book, Raise Your Vibes, and talk about some of the chapters. We talk a bit about meditation and mantras and some interesting conversation around angels and signs and all sorts of fun stuff. So take a listen to part 2 and enjoy.
There's a couple more things in the book that I want to get to. I think they're so cool and interesting. So first of all, really quickly, we can just touch on meditation and mantras because that is very much a big part of the whole experience, right? Do you always do meditation within Reiki? Is it are you saying mantras while you're doing Reiki?
So I'm not, it's an interesting, that's an interesting kind of way to put it. When I do distance Reiki, just for example, I really do go into this deep meditative state. And so does the other person. So a lot of the time they'll even fall asleep because it's so, they really go into it. And then they wake up at the end of the session like, whoa, what was that? So during distance, I'll find I'm much more in a meditative state. When it's in person, obviously I can't quite just go into meditation because I'm actually using my hands, on the person's body or just above, depending on the area I'm working on. So I don't use mantras or as you would think of a mantra. We do have Reiki symbols, and there is a sound that is affiliated with those that you'll learn, in the master level or even level 2 in the Japanese lineage. It's usually not taught in Western anymore, but in the Japanese lineage it is, and that's really amazing and powerful. And people kind of think you're funny when you do it, but I'm past caring what people think when it comes to my work. It's like, it's okay. I'm a hippie. It's fine, but usually, I won't use sound or things like that from myself because I don't want to interrupt the flow of the energy that they're receiving. So when I'm doing a session, like they're drawing in energy, you don't want to interrupt that flow and cause worry. So, oh, your throat chakra is out of balance. Let me do this. Let me work here. Definitely not something you want to do. It's not like a massage where like, oh, you're really tight right here. Let me work that out.
Gotcha.
Not the same kind of thing. You want to keep that energy flowing and open and not, you're not causing blockages yourself. And likewise, when people have a massage, think about it. You want to relax and just, allow your body to release, right? And if the massage therapist is there talking to you during your session, it's kind of like counterintuitive. You can't really relax and let go. So kind of similar in that way. But when people are doing, self Reiki for themselves, it's wonderful to use mantras. It's wonderful to use mudras as well. It just helps. It's like whatever works for you to help channel in this energy and help you feel at peace. that's what you want to keep doing. And in the book, there's so many different options that you can use because everybody's different and you're not going to feel called to do one or another. And maybe your energy is different tomorrow and what you did yesterday didn't work. So, in the book, you have an option to kind of switch that up and say, oh, well, today, I feel actually more drawn to use crystals, or I feel more drawn to use sound, or today I'm going to dabble with the violet flame. There's different ways you can, work with energy. There's so much, which is so cool. And why kind of writing this book was interesting. It's like, no, but I need to add this, and no, I need to add that. And at one point my editor's like, you got to stop. Like, that's it.
They're like, that's book number 2.
Right. Well, that's what I wanted to say, because in the book you have all the mudras and you have different mantras and just all of these different like self-care, self-healing tools. Actually, one of the mantras that you put in there was really important to me when I first moved here. It was Om Mani Padme Hum. I might be saying it wrong, but that's how I say it. So I used that. That was my meditation when I first moved here. I needed that compassion towards myself.
What does that mean?
It's and correct me if I'm wrong or help me, Athena, but it means like compassion to yourself and to the world, and kind of open, like letting all of that in, to just kind of go easy on yourself.
Go easy. Okay.
Yeah. Is that right, Athena?
Yeah. And it's very in line too with like the Reiki principle, be kind to your neighbor and every living thing. That includes yourself, being kind to yourself. And the mantras are in the Sanskrit mantras. These are way old. These are like thousands of years old. And there's a reason that they are still carried with us today, because they really are powerful. And in a way, it's sound healing. So you're using your own voice to generate this sound that is so healing. And when you do the mantra, even just the you feel that vibration behind your mouth, behind your lips, and this is resonating. This is like, it's like carrying out throughout your body and through your energetic system. So using mantras are wonderful. I mean, some people are really into, you have to do it 108 times, I think it is, right? And you go through the beads, kind of like a Rosemary Hail Mary, right? Where they're like holding the beads and going around. And for some people, if that's what works for you, awesome. I mean, I have no judgment. Like, it's all about what works for you. I'm just kind of giving you the tools, like this is what can help. I love that you did that when you were moving up there, because that's awesome. You might want to try also the one for new beginnings, where you're, you're releasing any obstacles in your path and open to the blessings that can come your way. These are, you just moved into a new place. So you got to kind of, release the old life, right? So that you can begin this new chapter without feeling, kind of like this, but I used to do it like this over here.
Right.
No, it was different. And now what? And all these like questions. Well, using that one can help you kind of release that fear, release that. So you're open to all the new and the wonderful that you're going to experience in your new home.
And what is that one?
Yeah, is
that in the book too?
Well, yes, that one is in the book. And that, let me see, I should have drawn the page, but it's Om Ganapataye Namaha. So let me see if I can find it.
It's kind of a hard one though, Athena. That's very long.
Because it's long, but I have it broken down in the, let's see, I'm going to have to use my own index. What I love about this book is I use it as a reference myself all the time.
I know. It's so nice of everything. And then you can kind of skim through the areas that you want to focus on or the parts you want to read.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I keep this close, and I'm always referencing it and, helping others so that they can, I'm like, oh, wait, I know this. I wrote about that. Okay. So it's on page 117. That'll make it easy for you. And it breaks down there how to say it so that you're not kind of tripping over yourself. And when you're first starting, just read it right from the book, because it's right there for you. Right. And I know at first, if you just see it typed, it looks kind of scary. It's kind of intimidating. Like, that's a long one. Right. But this one is really, I had bought like one of these little, there's this company that does mantra beads. And I had bought one of the beads. And that was the first one that I bought. And I really felt called to it. And this is even before I started Reiki. This is years and years ago. And I thought, yeah, that sounds new beginnings and removing obstacles. Let's do that. And I got this beat, and I would work with it, and I would say the mantra, repeat the mantra. And oh my goodness, the things that changed after I started working at this, it was almost like, I didn't think I was ready for this. Like, wait a minute, what's going on? Back up. Yeah, hold on. But all the changes that have happened since have been so incredible. So that's a really nice mantra to work with. You can also listen to it. I'm sure if you type it into, iTunes or something like this, YouTube,
on YouTube,
you'll find somebody chanting this mantra.
It is helpful.
So you could just listen to that while you're doing yoga or something that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then you can just start repeating, like you're singing along. It's like when you're learning a new language. I don't know if anybody here's learned a new language. I married a Persian man, so I'm always hearing other languages, and listening to the music of it really helps to formulate the sound for you. Likewise, when I was a kid in choir, we would sing in like Latin and German and all these other things. And I can't speak any of those, but when you're singing it, it's, for some reason, when you sing that sound healing really comes through with ease. So yeah, I would say for anybody, if you're struggling to repeat these, go look up the music on, YouTube or something and do it that way. So
yeah, that's a great tip.
And you had mentioned mantras and mudras. What's a mudra?
So a mudra, which is also from Sanskrit, and you'll find these a lot. Actually, a lot of people are using that in yoga and in meditation now, but it's just a way of how you hold your hands. So there's like a surya mudra, which, this is the surya mudra, right? And this one works with your thyroid, but it's also great for dietary stuff. It's great for grounding. So when you're holding this one, the idea is the pressure is here on your ring finger, and in your hands, we got the pictures going. In your hands, you have connection to the meridians in your body. So this is kind of the thought behind it. You have these meridians, which are really like energy roadways, let's say, within your body, like a roadmap. And when you place that focus there during your meditation, you are also sending that energy, down your meridians through your body. And it's really helpful for healing, for giving yourself confidence. There are so many that you can work with. There's some in the book as well that help with like confidence or just coming into your own. And when you hold these, and it doesn't have to be, super strict and tight, let your fingers like relax, but keep the focus, the pressure on wherever you're touching your thumb to, or everybody's probably seen this one, right? So when you're doing this, the focus is on the pressure here at your fingers. And then as you meditate, and let's say you get all these self-defeating thoughts that start to come in, or I have an itch, or I have move, or what was that sound? All these different things that the brain is like trying to say, no, you can't be calm and meditate. So you just return your focus back to where that pressure is. And suddenly your mind and all those thoughts, all those negative Nancy's in there stop, because your focus is here. And likewise, if you're working with your breath, you'll return to that sensation of breathing because your focus is on the breath. And that's what they use in mindfulness meditation is the breath. But there's lots of different ways to meditate, and a lot of people struggle with it. I mean, I know I did before when somebody was like, oh, you got to meditate. I'm like, I can't sit there. Like, you guys are crazy. Like, how do you do that? Like 5 minutes, like 2 minutes in, and I'm like, oh, okay, I got to move. I'm itching. I can't, You're unsettled. Right. And then I took this wonderful class through UCLA for mindfulness, and it really changed everything. I mean, I had started it, for not even for myself. I was going in with my husband. We had just moved to our own house, and super stressed, lots of anger. And I was just like, all right, we gotta tone this down, and let's go to a meditation class. I didn't want to do like anger management or therapy. It wasn't kind of that situation. So I thought, let's do mindfulness. I'll be more into that. And it ended up being such a blessing for me. And then I took my kids, and I was like, okay, come on, guys, you need to do this too, especially like kids that are coming into their teens. They have so much angst, so much worry, so much, hormonal changes, emotions that are just, all over the place. And teaching them to meditate has been such a gift, because now they have a resource that they can turn to just pause, like bring all that down. And this really helps them. I expect and hope that it will help them if they return to this throughout their lives, when life is going to throw you curveballs. It's going to throw you stress. It's going to throw you situations that, yes, we're meant to grow and learn from, but that doesn't make them easy, right? It doesn't mean that it's easy. So giving them tools to just bring it down, have some clarity, do some Reiki on yourself, love on yourself a little bit. And then you can kind of face the challenges that life is throwing you with like a cool head and a little more clarity. And, isn't that a gift just on its own, right?
100%.
Do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. My latest is teaching kids. I love children. I love working with kids, and they've suffered so much during this pandemic, not having school, being in Zoom. I've seen it everywhere. I have 3 kids, so I have a wide age range of kids, and I can see how each, age group is really affected by this. And so I thought, you know what, why do we have to wait till we're grown up and we already have trauma to, heal ourselves? Why can't we give them tools before life kicks their butt, right? Let's show them some of these things before life is too hard. And then hopefully, using them and applying them, their life will just be like that little bit less stressful, a little bit less traumatic, can't save them from everything.
How do you get the kids to be interested in it? Because I have 2 boys, 14 and 12, and I try to like do breathing and different things with them, but they're very, they roll their eyes. I'm thinking maybe it's sinking in somewhere, but like, how do you get kids to be open to it and not think it's silly or,
Well, who cares if they think it's silly? That's fine. Like, you know what? Like, it's fine. All right. So I think it's silly. My kids call me a hippie mom. Oh, Mom, you're such a hippie mom. I get this all the time, and I just laugh like, yep, I'm a hippie. No, I have 15 and 13 and 7. And, part of it is being that example, showing them, it's the same with like rituals and for our partners out there that think we're like being, doing, like my husband used to say, what is this hoodoo voodoo stuff you're doing? We've been married a long time. We're like at 20 years now. So he's seen me go through all kinds of growth and change. And, in the beginning, it's like, what? And kids are the same, it's like, what? It's like this kind of, they're skeptical and, they want to be on their phones or be with their friends. But kind of watching mom or watching dad, sit down and do some of these things. And then when they show any, like the slightest bit of curiosity, rather than like pouncing, like, oh yeah, here, this is how you do it. And it's all like this, just here, why don't you try it? Just hand over the tool. Like, oh, it's cool, right? Here, try, here, take a, or yeah, this is my crystal. Here, try it. Here's one. Yeah. And just, and they look at it and kind of like, oh, okay. All right, cool, Mom. But it plants a seed, it begins that process.
Because my boys both have crystals in their rooms. I gave that to them and they thought it was really cool, actually. And they both have like one has by the window, one by the nightstand. So I guess it is sinking in. But yeah.
It is totally.
That's a good reminder.
Love crystals. They're beautiful. Yeah. Kids love crystals. Like my son comes and asks my 13-year-old, he'll come, Mom, I can't sleep. Can I have an amethyst?
Oh, that's great.
That's amazing.
So cool.
It's like you have these proud mommy moments and they're really, children are so actually open and receptive to it. If we just give them kind of the environment where they don't feel pressured or, like we're just dominating them with more rules, right? Because nobody likes rules when you're 15. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to listen to you. But if it's kind of a gentle kind of thing, like I ordered some sound healing equipment. And the first thing I brought it out, my kids all came out, let's see. And I let them take them, play with them, use them. Like, yeah, do it. Great. Cool. Isn't that fun? Oh, look. And if you do it like this, it makes this sound. And, suddenly they're like, ooh, I want to do that. So it's kind of, leading by example, but then it's also just being open to letting them, take it at their own time. And, the course, the workshop I'm doing, it's 4 weeks. I keep it short because, the attention span, like I'm not trying to drag them through like a whole thing. I'm just trying to plant that seed, help them see, look, try this, see how this is. And look, doesn't that feel good? cool, now you do it. I mean, it's kind of like that kind of approach. And then that way they're just a little bit more receptive. And, if they think I'm crazy and a hippie, that's cool. That's fine.
Yeah, I think they should do it required at schools. Like they should open and close schools doing something like that. One of my kids' schools did that, and I thought it was incredible.
Yeah. Before we get into our wrap session, there's one little topic that I want to just hit really fast because it fascinates me, and I think Amy as well. And it's in your book. It's angels and signs. And how much of that is about being in tune, like with your third eye and everything, and having that pathway clear? I find I have always been very intuitive. I have crazy stories in my family, like my mom and my grandmother, and have like seen signs and spirit and heard spirit and everything. So how much of that do you feel is related to your third eye chakra?
Well, your third eye definitely helps you to be open to divine, clear sight, and open to things that are not of this physical plane, I guess is what we would say. And then as well as your crown chakra being, open to divine knowledge and guidance. So these two work really well together. Anytime you're working with, spirit, universe, angels, it's kind of it's having that clear, open sight that is beyond our physical plane. I know that sounds very hippie, but, we do have these planes where you have, just think of it like your body. You have an emotional body, a physical body, and then you have a spiritual body, right? So it's kind of the same thing with our universe. We have these different planes. There's a spiritual level to it. Some people will call it, there's different names, 5D, 3D. You'll hear it in terms of that. You'll hear it like, heaven and earth. You'll hear different ways that people have tried to explain this, that humankind has tried to explain what these different levels are, these different planes of consciousness or of beings. And having that open third eye is really important. But I always say, like I said earlier, you always also want to make sure you have that strong root chakra, because then you are free to explore and safely without just kind of losing it, right? I mean, we've seen a lot of people, especially when people are using plant medicine, and I have awesome, great. I have no, anything against it. But what I do see is that people that go on these, trips, we'll say, or hallucinogenics, they have a hard time coming back to like real life, right? It's kind of like they're so far out there. It's really hard to adjust back to like normal everyday life. So when you have that strong root chakra, you're really free to explore. It's like having your anchor, right? And how is that connected with angels? Well, I also have had this amazing connection with angels since I was a kid. Didn't really know what it was until I was much older. Just thought I was maybe weird, right? Like, what? Don't you see people too? Like, what?
Right.
You don't? Maybe I should talk about that. Yeah. So, what you grow up thinking is normal as a kid, then you talk to people like it's because it's your normal, and you realize, oh, that doesn't happen for you too. Okay, cool. Well, I'll just quiet here. But for everybody, I think everybody has the potential and the power to open up to the divine or to, angels. I mean, we all have angels. We all have our spirit guides. Some people like to call it. Doesn't matter what term you're using, but we all have these guardian angels around us that are right there. Like they're right there. Like they're bored. Give them something to do. They want to help you. They want to guide you, just start talking to them. I know it feels a little weird at first, but start talking to them. Start asking for signs is the easiest way to start communicating if you haven't before. And, you don't even, in terms of chakras, I don't know that you even need to open those. I think that will your third eye will start to open as you practice this, because you're suddenly going to become more aware of things outside of, the physical present life here on earth in your house, right? So ask for a sign. And then suddenly what happens so often is people start seeing numbers, sequences like, so 111, 222, 333. This week was crazy. Oh, and a wonderful nirvana that I'm just thinking was all the angel numbers that I had coming forward this week. It was nuts.
Nice.
It was like every time I looked at the clock, every time I looked at a receipt, when I went to fill up my gas, it was crazy. Wow. Like the number of messages, the number of emails, like suddenly everything was an angel number. And I was like, wow, like I'm on it this week. What's going on? Like, okay, angels, I'm listening, like, tell me, what do I need to know? And then just allowing yourself to be open to receive the message. And, a lot of the time we'll question, like, wait, was that right? And when you're questioning, that's another time that you can ask for a sign. Like, okay, I'm questioning this. Am I crazy? Angels, give me a sign. Throw a penny my way if this is not like made up. Like if it's all in my head, put a dime out there. If it's not, give me a penny. And I swear, like within like later that day or the next day, suddenly you're going to see pennies or you'll see dimes, and you're like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, right. My mom used to always say to me, she would say, when you're in your car or you're crossing the street and it's clear and you're looking one way and then something just tells you, hold on a second, look the other way really quickly. She and then a car's coming that's about to hit you. She's always said, like, those are your angels. They're like tapping on your shoulder, reminding you just to be extra safe.
I love your mom. Yes.
Yeah. Shout out to mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really, the whole thing kind of blows my mind.
Yeah. We could do a whole show on that.
And we should.
I think
we should. Yeah.
I think it's so interesting. And with all the signs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to hear. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to have you back to talk about that because that is a whole episode. Absolutely.
You're like that little whisper or that stranger that came by and randomly said some message that resonated with you. And you're like, wait, what? Where did that come from? A lot of the times you'll get these messages, you'll overhear a conversation, or, a song will come on the radio with a specific lyric that applies to whatever you were just asking a moment ago. It's really amazing. There's no limits to like how they can communicate.
I was just showing Katie and her girls a picture last night of a pancake I made a couple weeks ago. And I took a picture of it because it had a heart outline inside of it, like very overt. And I was like I wonder what that means. And we just got a new puppy. Like, I think it was like earlier that week or something. So to me, it meant love in our home or something. And it's all good. So yeah, it was unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. See, and it pops up in like, even in our food, it'll pop up. So
yeah. I mean, it was the most random. This never happened before. I just happened to look down and I was like, oh my God, look at this. And I had to take a picture.
And it usually is something like that where it's random because it pops out at you. If it was just something normal, it wouldn't pop, but something like that where you actually went and got your phone and took a picture of the pancake, like clearly that struck you. So signs are like that too. It's like they really strike you. You're like, whoa, wait a minute. Why am I saying 111 all day long? Like this is, it's not a coincidence. It's your angels reaching out and trying to deliver a message for you. And yes, sometimes it's hard to kind of decipher, but that's as you start communicating with them more, you can start asking for clarity, asking for signs to help you gain clarity. And then the more experienced or the more comfortable is really you become with receiving this information, the clearer it becomes for you. And you actually start to, the way I have my intuitive gifts is I have like this sense of knowing and then I'll see it. So it's like almost like I know it, like I'm hearing somebody talk in my head, but it's not like a sound, but like you hear it like a voice in your head kind of thing. I know that.
It's like, right. I thought, but like a thought that comes into your brain. That's very like random.
A thought comes into your brain. Yeah, just like when a thought comes into your brain, when you're trying to meditate, for example, right? You're trying to meditate and that thought comes in, you're like, oh my God, get out of here. But with angel messages and connecting with angels, it's a similar thing. You'll hear this like thought, but it's not your own thought. That's what's different. It's not coming from you, but you hear it or you feel it or you know it. And it's like, whoa, where did that come from? And then it's like, those are your angels. So just when the signs do come, manners matter. Always use, just take a moment for gratitude. Like, angels, thank you for sending me that sign. I really needed that today, or, whatever. Just take a moment of thanks, because they love that too. And then they feel, appreciated and loved and honored and validated, that they're able to communicate with you. So always important to keep gratitude a central part of any ritual, any practice, anything that you're doing moving forward, because that really raises your vibration. And everybody loves to work with someone who's, has gratitude, because that's a blessing. That's someone you want to be around. Absolutely. Right? So Same thing with your angels, be nice, say thanks.
That's a very good,
we'll come back for more.
Good reminder.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Well, Athena, thank you so much. This has been illuminating and very, very fun. So we want to get into our wrap session with you, because, we have some fun questions we have to ask you outside of all of this great stuff. So what is your favorite wellness or beauty hack?
Wellness beauty hack. Oh, yes. This was on your list of stuff. So when I've got 5 minutes and I got to get out the door, beauty will be, mascara and red lips, because I don't have time for anything else. Boom, I'm out the door and I still look kind of put together. Sometimes I'll throw on a hat, depending. I will always grab one of my crystals. So it would be, either a bracelet or a necklace. Sometimes I'll grab this one's kind of big to show you. Let's see if I have a little one. So I'll have a little crystal. I love to grab a little crystal on the way out the door and just tuck it into my bra. Remember it's there. Yeah, but take it I know it's my husband's what, you're putting rocks in your bras now? What's going on? But it's, it keeps that beautiful energy close to you. I happen to grab a rose quartz, which is great. That energy of love, tuck that into your bra. Hematite is great. Keep yourself grounded. If you need some protection, grab a protection stone. If you feel like you're going into an interview and you need that boost of confidence, grab a little citrine, just stick it in your bra. It's kind of like a little secret hack, your little secret stash that you have there to empower yourself, moving forward. So that's my best and favorite, I think, is the little crystal ditties in the pockets.
Yeah,
that's great. And we probably know this answer, but how do you maintain your daily nirvana? What's the one thing you do every day to keep you peaceful and joyful?
My daily nirvana is my gratitude practice. 100%. The difference in my days is so drastic when I forget to do this. So first thing in the morning, I wake up and I just list off, before I do anything, before I check the phone, before I go to the bathroom, before I even pull off the covers, open my eyes and just take a moment, 3 to 5 things that I'm grateful for. And this just starts my day on a positive, shifts my energy into a positive. So no matter what comes towards me that day, I am starting from such a high place that it's, it keeps you elevated and keeps you happier. We can't always be happy. There's going to be days that are just wretched. But when you start, from a place of gratitude, everything is a lot easier to bear during your day. And the days I forget, I notice a huge shift. I'm not able to handle things as well. So gratitude practice. It's so important. I highly recommend everybody just try it for a week.
Yeah,
and it's so little effort. It's nothing, right? It takes a second. So
absolutely. All right. Well,
we are going to close out. We're going to have Katie do our mantra for us, but just wanted to thank you so much, Athena, for being on the show. Well, we're definitely going to have you back. There's so many topics to discuss. I mean, it's just my mind is definitely blown after this, but really quickly before Katie does her mantra, how do people find you? Instagram, I imagine.
Yes, I am on Instagram. I have kind of a large following there on Instagram. I am on YouTube. It's also Crystal Reiki Healer is the name across everywhere. So crystalreikihealer.com, Crystal Reiki Healer on YouTube, Crystal Reiki Healer on Instagram. It's actually Crystal Reiki Healer 1 on Facebook. I couldn't snag that one. And that's where we'll find me. And then coming soon, I haven't told anyone yet. So this is fun. I'm getting my own The Crystal Reiki Show, which is going to launch.
Oh
so I'm excited, and that will also be Crystal Reiki Healer and the Crystal Reiki Show.
Launching?
So just think Crystal Reiki, and you should be able to find me. But otherwise, Athena Bahri, Bahri, and you'll find me there. I try to keep as open as I can, so I'm not hard to find. If anybody needs me, I am here for your highest good.
Thank you so much.
Where,
loved having you on the show.
Where and when is the show launching? Can you tell us that yet?
I have not set a launch date yet. I don't know what my launch date is going to be. I'm hoping for next month, but with all the pre-production stuff, maybe January. I don't know. We'll see. I'll keep you posted. We'll see what happens. You guys come on. We'll do this swapped, right?
We would love to. We'd be honored. Well, your book, Raise Your Vibes, Energy Self-Healing for Everyone by Athena Bahri. I could not recommend it more. It's really a gorgeous, self-healing, self-love tool. And so thank you. So thank you for being here. So this mantra made me think of you because of your gratitude practice, how much it's just a common theme, I think, in your life. And so it is, a negative mind will never give you a positive life. And I think that without gratitude, we can tend to lean towards negativity. So it just kind of supports that. So
absolutely.
So thank you, Athena. Thank you for being here.
That.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, ladies. I'm grateful to share with you and your community, and I'm so happy you love the book. So this has been such a blessing. So grateful for you.
Thanks for listening to Nirvana Sisters. For more information on this episode, check out the show notes, please subscribe, and leave us a review. Also, find us on Instagram at Nirvana Sisters. If you loved what you just listened to or know someone that would, please share it and tag us. Tune in next week for a fresh new episode of Nirvana Sisters. We'll continue to watch out for all things wellness so you don't have to. Bye.